I will start this morning by thanking our police, our emergency services and our welfare groups who have been working all weekend in preparation for Cyclone Megan. I will read so that I don't get any facts wrong here, but severe tropical cyclone Megan intensified to a Category 3 system late yesterday. It lies to the southeast of Groote Eylandt and has been slowly moving southwest. This is a rapidly moving system, and we have been making logistical decisions since yesterday afternoon. We expect Cyclone Megan to hit between 3:30 and 9:30 p.m. tonight. Because of the strength of this weather system, we will be undertaking evacuation of the Borroloola community. Around 700 people are set to be evacuated from Borroloola today. Yesterday, we contacted the federal government at the Australian Defence Force saying we need assistance getting people out of Borroloola. I want to thank them for working quickly to get their air carriers, to get the aircraft out to Borroloola this morning. Today we will have Defence C-130 and C-17 planes evacuating people from Borroloola community. Evacuees will be taken to Foskey's Pavilion here in Darwin and Marara Sporting Stadium out at Marara as well. Both these centres are currently being stood up. There are 40 homes in Borroloola that are coded to Category 3 cyclone levels. McArthur River Mine have advised that they are well prepared. There is an elevated risk of flooding across the Northern Territory and Barkly this week. Obviously, as the cyclone moves through and across and continues west, there's a strong chance of flooding. There is an active flood watch for the Carpentaria and parts of the Top End and Barkly districts. Road closures may be implemented at short notice and flash flooding is possible. Intense rainfall will precede the cyclone and flooding is possible about coastal parts of the Carpentaria district this evening and during Monday. And on Friday night and Saturday we saw about 500 mils of rain in Groote Eylandt, so we can expect large rainfall. Rivers are rising and falling quickly and roads are being closed on short notice. Stay up to date obviously with Secure NT. I'll pass now to Matt Hollenby, who will provide further updates.
Acting Assistant Commissioner Matt Hollenby, I'm the Regional Controller for this weather event. At this very moment, we are doing our best to evacuate people out of Borroloola. The first priority will be the medically vulnerable people, along with their carers. There are two C-130 aircraft that are going to land at Borroloola and ferry people to the McArthur River Mine airstrip, at which point they will board the C-17 aircraft, which will take them to Darwin, and they'll be settled here at the evacuation centre. We have a contingency plan in the event that the aircraft can't evacuate all people that want to be evacuated in time. There are 40 residents in Borroloola that are built to code, and the remaining residents will need to shelter there. This morning there was about 300 people waiting at the council offices to board planes to fly to McArthur River and then on to Darwin. It is raining at Borroloola, so they are propping at the council offices before they board the aircraft. We hope that this event will be over quickly and we can conduct a rapid impact assessment and then return the residents back to Borroloola. The weather event will travel across in a westerly direction across the Northern Territory. There are risks of flooding in the Carpentaria and the Barkly regions, so we just ask people to be prepared. If it's consider your travel plans. If it's flooded, don't go, and just consider your positions, knowing that this weather event is coming.
Do you want to talk to Emma or no?
Has anyone been injured that you know of?
At this point in time, there's been no injuries. Our first and foremost priority is the safety of people, and right at this moment, it is the people of Borroloola.
Are you having difficulty landing at Borroloola?
The landing at Borroloola will become challenging as the day goes on. I'm not sure what it is like right now, but there will reach a point where aircraft will not be able to land. We hope to evacuate as many people as we can before that occurs.
Why did these evacuations not start yesterday?
The capacity of aircraft in the Northern Territory is limited. We called on the Australian Defence Force, who have offered their assistance, and the earliest they could get here from the eastern seaboard was early this morning.
Those homes in Borroloola are COVID Cat 3 that the Weather Bureau was saying yesterday at least, this could be an intensified Cat 4 system by the time they like it. Are you confident that those homes will be sturdy enough to withstand damage from this cyclone?
The cyclone is predicted to be a Cat 3. There's a very, very low chance it might reach Cat 4, but Borroloola is 50 kilometres inland from the coastline, and it's anticipated that it'll won't be at Category 3 intensity when it reaches in the vicinity of Borroloola.
What's your understanding of the amount of damage on Groote Eylandt? We understand that the wharf has been severely damaged. It's impossible to get between communities on the roads at the moment. How quickly is that all going to be solved?
Yeah, Groote Eylandt has some residual issues from the weather system. There is a ship that has severely damaged the port at Groote Eylandt. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority is managing that incident. We can also say that the power is out at Anurrigu, and vehicular traffic between Anurrigu, Aliangula and Umbacumba is limited. We are flying some technicians from into Anurrigu with a view to start reconnecting the power today.
What about the water? People are being told to conserve water, and how quickly is that all going to be reached?
Yeah, look, Groote Eylandt received a lot of rain, a heap of rain. It is a resilient community, it's well managed, and they will get through this, and we will support them from the Emergency Operations Centre.
Can you give us an update on the flooding in Gunbalanya?
Yeah, Gunbalanya received an inundation of water last week. There was some water inundation at some residents and other buildings in the community. One of the issues that we had to manage was crocodiles that were working their way into the town, and the animal welfare group is assisting that community. Since that time the waters have receded somewhat, but again it was about the safety of the Gunbalanya people as well.
Are you planning for further evacuations of other communities that might be in the eye of what might end up being a tropical low, but ultimately this system is going to move and drop a lot of rain?
Yeah, look, as I say, let's start that again. Over the next week we can expect a lot of rain across the Northern Territory from this weather system. It will move in a westerly direction. Hopefully it moves fast. So we don't know the exact track, but we're planning and preparing for what might come. Again, there might be sudden road closures. If there's water over the road, if it's flooded, forget it. And just please reconsider your travel plans over the next week.
What sort of support will the evacuees be getting once they arrive at Darwin?
Yeah, the evacuees will come to this facility here. Depending on how many we can evacuate, there'll be a secondary facility at Marara, and they'll be well supported by our welfare group. The welfare group has been brought on at very, very short notice, and as you can see in the background, they're working very hard to get it set up for the arrival of the people of Borroloola.
Why is this space being used instead of Howard Springs? I thought that was part of the commission.
Yeah, the Northern Territory Government doesn't own Howard Springs. We are well practiced and well versed as using Foskey's Pavilion as an evacuation centre. As you can see in the background, it's all full steam ahead to support the evacuees.
Borroloola was supposed to have a cyclone shelter built that's not quite ready yet. Do you know why it's not ready to go?
That will be one that you can ask the Chief Minister.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to jump in now? So yes, the cyclone shelter at Borroloola is about probably 2 or 3 months off completion. It's about a $9 million build, and will be a substantial facility that will probably be able to house, I think, probably about 300 or 400 people into the future. It will be a multi-purpose sporting facility for use for the community to use during at other times, but it just isn't quite completed now. Any other questions or?
Just wondering, have we underestimated the seems like this is a really last minute.
No. We've been watching it very closely. It's a very tight, very intense, and we saw that we've been tracking it for nearly a week. If you remember, that was a low that went across the top of the territory and then came through down the Gulf of Carpentaria. We saw storms and large storms in Gallowinku. There's been, my understanding, that had been some damage in Gallowinku. Then went through Groote Island, and as I said, Groote had about 500 mils of rain. So we've been watching it very, very closely. We're watching the tracking of it, and it really has been only in the last few days where we've seen it turn southwesterly. We were thinking that it might have kept going straight through and gone through Queensland, or and just dissipated across the Gulf there, the Gulf country rather than the Gulf. But it turned on a bit of a dogleg and went southwest, which is on that track between Nathan River and the Queensland border. We're hoping for not a direct hit on Borroloola. At this stage, that the eye won't go over Borroloola, which will be a good thing. Obviously, Borroloola's inland as well, so we're hoping that even though it's Cat 3 at this stage, that by the time it gets closer to Borroloola, it'll drop down to a Cat 1. But we'll be watching that very, very closely. For somebody who's been through a cyclone, I'm pleased to see that it may be daylight when it hits, which is much better for people than I think being in a cyclone at night time.
We're seeing these issues in Borroloola with the military air park planning because of the weather. Is this evacuation coming too late?
What was that? It's too late.
Is this evacuation coming too late?
No, definitely not. So the evacuation, though, it's just to be clear, the Borroloola strip can only take smaller planes. So we're having to do a two-step process. So they're going from Borroloola to MacArthur River there, so the larger strip, and then they'll get onto the larger plane and be evacuated to Darwin and to Foskey's Pavilion and Marara. But it has to be done in a careful, measured way. Obviously, safety is paramount.